So welcome everybody to the show. We have a special guest today. We're going to be talking all about events, specifically in-person events. And today's guest, we are super lucky to have one of the top contributors to events. This person has been responsible for not only Houston's top events, but also events in Mexico as well as Europe. She is a certified meeting professional, a CMP. In 2021, she was recognized by Connect Corporate 40 Under 40 for inventing new ways of doing business. As we know, they were terming them the comeback kids, and certainly events have been kind of in a struggle, and her and her industry are now coming out thanks to a lot of the things that she's been doing, which we'll delve into. She was highlighted as a Biz Bash fresh face for 2021. She's been dreaming up and organizing events for many top organizations, and now she has ventured out on her own, and she is now the founder of Wicked Experience Designs. Please welcome Jessica Campos. Jessica, thank you so much for being here. How's it going?
Thank you. Good. How are you today?
Excellent. Good. You got your coffee there. See, it's very important to have coffee. Events, how important is coffee at events?
Oh my goodness. Well, if you're the meeting planner, it's very important. I drink a lot of it when I'm out in a meeting, but just in general, I think that's definitely one of the most sought after beverages at any meeting, especially when you're sitting in a room all day long.
It is. And do you do the conference coffee, or do you usually bring your own? Do you have a go-to?
I typically just go with the conference, whatever the venue offers, unless, they allow us to bring in outside catering, then maybe might go for something a little nicer.
Right. No, that's good. So first off, what type of events does your company, Wicked Experience Design, what do you enjoy doing? What do you guys do? Can you tell us a little bit about Wicked Design?
Yeah, so we do pretty much all kinds of different corporate events. So whether it's incentive trips or meetings, conferences, trade shows, basically anything that a corporation might want to do, even a holiday party.
Oh, nice. Yeah, the holiday season is coming up.
Yes. So, whatever there's a need for, we can kind of plan an experience around it.
Wonderful. Experience is definitely the operative word, because you're doing more than just presenting information. You really are trying to leave a memorable experience. And,
right.
I guess that starts from the beginning. Does that start from you? Does that start with the client, what they want to do, or?
It definitely starts with the client and kind of what their goals of the events are, and then we kind of build an experience around that, whether that be like a call to action or just spreading information, or just making sure everyone has a good time.
That is good. And as far as your metric, like you were talking about with CTAs, like what is it that you look for personally as far as a success metric, but then also maybe what the client is looking for?
So it really, again, boils down to like those goals and what you're looking for. I mean, it can be attendance, it can be sales, surveys at the end of it, and kind of rating everyone's satisfaction level.
Nice. So as we were saying, it's been a crazy 18 months. Where are we now in regards to in-person events? What are you seeing? What are you hopeful for?
Well, it seemed for a while, coming into the year was a little rough, and we thought everything was going to pick back up here towards the end of the year. And up until about September, things were looking really good. And then, Delta variant kind of shook things up again, and everyone's a little bit more hesitant to have events. So, I mean, they're happening, and big ones are happening, and they're going off successfully, and there's not huge, COVID scares or anything like that. But businesses are nervous and attendees are hesitant, so it's kind of creating a little bit of a downturn again. But I'm hopeful, looking forward, it looks like things are going to really pick up. So hopefully it stays this way and we don't have any more problems.
No, we definitely need to get out there in person too, for concerts and big events as well.
Yeah.
So, in regards to the vaccine, I guess it's a client's call as far as a vaccine mandate, or has that kind of come up in some of your discussions as you're planning events? Like, do people need to be, vaccinated or show a card or show a negative result?
That's definitely a sticky one for a lot of people. A lot of companies don't necessarily want to ask the question. They also don't want to be responsible for taking in that information. But we're seeing a lot of new technologies come out, like Clear, the ones at the airport.
Oh, nice. What does that involve?
Well, so when you're at the airport, you can easily just like scan your eye, do an eye scan, and then be able to go through security. And so now they've branched out to more of an event side of things where they can also like collect all the information that you have and then send it back to the event planner and just say, hey, you know what, like Steve passes, he has his screening or his negative test, and you as the event organizer don't have to ask for that information, you just get a pass or a fail.
Oh, nice, okay.
Yeah, so there's all kinds of things coming out.
Oh, that's exciting. Yeah, that's definitely not something that you had to deal with 18 months ago, but add it to the list. So here's so much of an event as an experience. It's in Wicked Experience. You're all about the importance of delivering that memorable experience. Do you prefer a clean slate, or do you like it when a client comes in and says, this is what I want to do, help me make it a great experience?
I like it when they have somewhat of an idea that we can build off together and really kind of create something around that. A lot of times, a client comes in and it's like, well, I want to do a meeting, and they know they want to present some information, but they don't know the best way to present it to make it engaging, or, the best places to host these events. So for me, it's like, okay, you have an idea, now what can we do to just create more of an experience around that?
Nice. So I was reading recently, and I'm not sure if this is on your purview or not, but we crave new things. People want to be surprised at, wow, but we've also, studies have shown that we like things familiar. So is it kind of a dance to come up with something grand and new experience, but yet make it feel familiar? Or?
Absolutely. I've definitely had that experience where, you're trying to shake things up a little bit, like you said, but, to still kind of keep it similar so you don't just overwhelm someone at a new experience. So for me, it's all about slowly implementing different changes into an event. So if it's an annual event that we do every year, we might, change the way the sessions are done this year, and then next year maybe add different activities. And each year just trying to change a little bit about it until you get to the end result.
That's nice. And I guess that keeps the attendees comfortable, but also the client to be like, whoa, pump the brakes there.
Right. It definitely helps with the budget because you don't get hit all at once with all of these major changes.
That is good. So let's talk about budgets. Where do budgets come up in your workflow when you're talking with a client? And I know it can be kind of a tough subject.
It definitely is, and just making sure, the client's fully aware of what that, can possibly mean for an event. A lot of times it's like, oh yeah, I want to host a party with, a handful of people, and they don't quite realize, all of the different aspects and elements that go into making an event successful in terms of, registrations and check-in and gifts and food and beverage and all that stuff. So
if there was someone that did want to maybe trim the budget a little bit, are there areas where you don't want to trim here, like say in registration, or are there areas that are more optimal for maybe trimming? Or
I would say definitely not trimming on the food and beverage.
That is one place.
Especially the beverage. People like a bar.
Oh, open bar, closed bar?
Whatever you can afford. It seems like open bars tend to go over pretty well.
Yes, never a bad experience for sure whenever that's happening.
There's also that element of risk, though, you take in there with having an open bar. So some organizations choose, let's just do drink tickets. We ensure everyone's just leaving with one drink. So.
No, that's good. In regards to insurance, is that something that's on your purview, or how does that work in regards to an event?
So yeah, that's definitely something that my organization keeps, not only for ourselves, but for our clients and the events that they attend as well. A lot of times different trade shows will require that you have certain insurances. And so, we help to secure that information for our clients and then, get that over to the event organizers. And, if they're the ones hosting the event, making sure that they have the proper insurances as well.
Excellent. Another value add with going with you. So what is your favorite part of the event? The process, but also the event itself?
When it's all over. No, I really love, that's one thing I love about events is that you go through all of this work for a couple months, or however, it might be a year, however long it takes for you to do your huge event. And then, at the end, you have one final end result, and you can very easily just wrap it up in a neat little bow and be like, all right, it's done. It's not this ongoing project. So I love being able to say, like, okay, it's the end of the day, it's done, all of that work, and here was the end result. Awesome.
Nice. No, that is good. So in regards to events, we're also hearing a little bit more about hybrid events. In regards to hybrid, that'll mean kind of a streaming aspect, audio, video. What kind of lift is audio, video? Is that still a nice to have or a must have in regards to?
I think pretty much anytime you're going to do a live event or hybrid event or online event, virtual event, then definitely having a quality AV partner is a huge piece to it. Definitely a huge element if you want to be successful with it. It's very hard to keep people engaged and really manage, both a live aspect and a virtual aspect, and make sure that it's engaging for both people, because they're very different experiences.
Right. So you're even seeing video even more so for the actual attendees as well, because I guess you have to be so much more spread out. You're definitely going to need that AV in order to prop up some big screens, some interactivity and that kind of thing.
Definitely. And then even if you're doing right now with COVID and having to have things spaced out, it's requiring more AV in rooms if you're spreading people out a little bit more. But yeah, definitely when doing all of the hybrid stuff, it is huge.
Excellent. So in regards to, you said definitely the events can be a lot of stress. How do you personally manage stress? Are you able to help your clients stay stress-free as well, or what do you?
My goal is to make sure they are stress-free as possible. So, for me, it's, my clients shouldn't be worried about all the logistics of an event. They should be worried about whatever it is that, their goals of the event are, whether it's meeting with clients or teaching some information. That should be what they're concerned about. While I can make sure, all of the vendors are taken care of and the agenda's running on time and things are set up correctly.
No, that's great. And as far as social media, is that something that is your workflow process, or is that something that you partner with? How important is social media when you're planning and also, I guess, doing an event?
That piece, I don't really work a ton in. It's definitely a huge element, especially depending on, what type of event you're hosting, who your customers are and who you're targeting. Because it can definitely, especially like you said with the hybrid stuff, or virtual stuff, it can be a piece that you can really play to as well, and definitely promoting registration and things like that. So I typically leave that to the client if they need help kind of building a strategy around promoting an event. That's generally a piece of it.
It is definitely its own business, I'm sure, these days in order to keep up with as well. So as we kind of near the end, what does Houston mean to you? I know that you're not originally from Houston.
It's definitely become a huge piece of my life. I love it out here. I love the opportunity that's been available out here. I think it's definitely helped move my career along, and there's so much events and things like that, conferences always happening out here. So
is there something that you'd say to maybe somebody that was like looking for cities to host? Why would they come to Houston, do you think?
There are so many great venues out here that are awesome to work with. A lot of great hospitality partners that I've met in the area, and it's just a great network of event professionals, where, if you were looking for an event to go somewhere in Houston, you could easily reach out to someone and find out like 10 different places that are going to be great, have huge spaces and things like that.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that, but yeah, there's definitely that aspect of an event is the nightlife, especially if it's an event that's over a few days. So yeah, definitely Houston has a lot of great nightlife, music scene, great food.
Oh, for sure. There's always something to do, and that's one piece that, like, when you're planning, it's like, okay, what are my attendees going to do at the end of the day?
Yeah, definitely. So I guess in regards to social deets, do you have, if someone was wanting to, look you up, what are some of your LinkedIn deets or a website? Or
I do have my website. It's wickedexp.com, so Wicked Experience Design, shortened. But yeah, anyone can look me up there. They can reach me on that website as well. There's a little contact information on there.
Well, that's wonderful. Anything else you'd like to share or say?
No, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to talk about all the event stuff and things.
You are very welcome. So thanks for all you're doing. You're putting smiles on people's faces. You're getting people out of their living rooms, out of their offices and homes and back out and meeting people. So thanks for everything. So this has been Jessica Campos here on the show.